All right. Hey guys, welcome to the Money Mix podcast number 7. Thank you guys for joining us again. You're with Al and Stan, and I'm gonna jump right into our first topic right away. It's about the Nvidia and the huge surge that it's having. It in just 2 weeks' time I'm sorry, this week alone went up 25%. It's not just a big company anymore. It's a humongous company with just news going kind of haywire about it because before it was only in two markets. The one market was computers, video games, and the other market was in crypto. But now there's a third one, and this is what's pushing all the new sales and the stock really high up, and that's AI. So, what do you think of this, Sam?
Well, this is really great for them that AI has emerged, and I think that it's going to continue to surge, and everyone's going to start running AI. So this is going to be great for Nvidia with the graphics cards. Yeah, I think that this company is going to do very, very well, and it has already done very well, up
Extremely well.
right, extremely well, up around 500% since last year. That is amazing. Not too many companies can do something like this and sustain it. That's the most important thing, right?
Right. There's
So,
not they don't have that much real competition out there. Nvidia's kind of is the by far the front runner when it comes to making like computer chips. So
well, you mean like graphics cards? That's
graphic
specifically
cards and processors as well. So
right.
they do both.
Well,
Yeah.
there's also Intel. There's also AMD. I think that
But they're so far behind. Well, AMD probably is the second when it comes to that. It's just Nvidia is just so far ahead of everyone right now,
yeah,
especially in the markets they're in and everything. It's just yeah. But go
yeah.
ahead.
I'm just saying that either way, although all the three companies are going to share the market, and yeah, they're the leader, and they're probably going to continue to be the leader. But the other two companies are probably not going to be that far behind. They'll probably put more efforts into graphics cards, and you never know what's really going to happen. But as of right now, it's going to be hard to catch up to them. And with crypto and AI leading the way, oh boy, that's going to be a crazy market to get into. Well, the question is, how high is the market cap going to go for Nvidia?
That right now is it just seems like so many are using it. Even cars are using Nvidia chips.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tablets are using it. There's so many phones, of course, are using it. So it's a very uh, you know it's a product that's used by so many products that are currently and regularly still used. The only big company that's really not using them and they moved away from them in I'm pretty certain in every product that I could think of is Apple. Apple's the only product, the only company that they're making their own chips from scratch.
Yeah,
And I'm assuming if they haven't already, they will be coming out, well, not coming out, but making their own AI, and that means they're going to be producing way more chips themselves to run all the AI they need for their purposes. I'm assuming
right. Uh,
Siri is going to be fully run on that as well.
True, that probably is true, but all the other products are using NVIDIA, and
Yes.
it's still a huge share of the market. So I expect if this continues, and I think it will continue into the foreseeable future up until it plateaus, and like everything else, right? Once it's mainstream, once most every company is using AI and cryptocurrencies, then they're going to have to probably come out with something else because there's only so much you can go up to. And I think that Nvidia probably is going to be a $1 trillion company very soon, maybe 2, 3, 5 years down the line. I wouldn't be surprised if Nvidia is a $1 trillion company. No financial advice, just making sure you guys know.
Yeah. No. I if it continues doing this, and it seems like it will, because I don't know what could possibly stop it at this point. I mean, unless they outlaw AI, or they outlaw just, yeah, like the usage of it or something. It's just there's so many products that still use and will continue to use for the foreseeable future. Uh, the chips they make, that I don't know what could possibly really stop the momentum they have right now.
Well,
So I kind of agree with you. I do see it being a $1 trillion company for sure.
well, since you brought that up, what could potentially stop, this type of product from being dispersed is the fact that, if everybody starts using a terminal, right? So instead of actually buying a personal PC, if people start using terminals, then obviously the market share is going to go much lower. Where you're logging into an actual server and you can utilize any operating system you want, so you won't have a personal computer, and even companies won't need them as well. They'll just run everything off the cloud. Then, and I think only then, Nvidia is not going to have this type of surge. But in the meantime, I don't see that anytime soon happening. So as of right now, Nvidia has the market. They have to be smart, and they have to evolve, right? So they can't just sit there and say, okay, you know what, we're doing really well. Let's just sit there and continue to milk it. I think they have to do something in order to innovate further, or else they're going to lose their share. So yeah, as of right now, I completely agree with you. They're on
The,
top. So
the thing is, my only thing to what you're saying is, I get that they have to innovate and all that kind of stuff, but they have been in this market for, I don't know, at least 20 to 30 years or something. They have been competing. They have been the number one company in this for a long time. It's not like there haven't been competitors to it that tried to take this crown, and they've always failed. Now it's just there's so many products that use their chips that it's just ballooned. Because I mean, again, before, the only thing people really use Nvidia chips for, it's, oh, are you a gamer? Oh,
yeah,
well, you want to get the Nvidia chip because that's going to give you the best games. And then,
exactly.
and because that's really where it made most of its money. And now that's like I would argue a small fraction of that. Now it's crypto, and definitely AI is pushing it forward even more than that.
Yeah,
um
exactly, exactly. So but what I'm trying to say is that they have to innovate, because at a particular point things will change. So they have to look into the future right now and see, okay, what's coming out next. That's pretty much all I'm trying to say. And since they are the number one company, they have the resources to do so. If they continue to innovate, then they will continue to be on top. I'll give you an example. I think PlayStation was number one at a particular point in time, and then Xbox came out. They took over the market because PlayStation just thought that the status quo was good enough, and it wasn't. So what I'm saying is that,
but then they came back, though, right?
yeah, they came back, but I'm just saying that in order to be number one, you have to continuously update yourself.
I
And
get it. I get it. My point
yeah,
wasn't that they don't have to do that. All I'm saying is that they've already been doing that for a long time.
yeah,
It's not
as long
like
as
they're
they
like
continue to.
they have been number one for basically for a very, very long time. They
Yeah,
have been competing, and they have been
right.
innovating. Like, I mean, the innovating for them isn't really real innovation. It's not like they're changing the chips. It's more that they're constantly making them faster and not as hot and take more power and all that kind of stuff. That's what they're doing. Smaller, more powerful, not as
Yeah,
hot. That's basically their, their thing. And they have been doing that arguably probably better than anybody else. AMD might disagree with that, but that's basically their biggest competition, and AMD is still not as big as them, nowhere near as big as them. I,
right.
I would
I
say. So
I
yeah.
agree. I mean, I think for the foreseeable future, they're going to be the top contender.
Do you think? Let me ask this though. Do you think that? Apple, because again, Apple has shown that they're actually doing really well with their own chips. They're really powerful. They're really fast. I don't know if there's a clear benchmark to benchmark, just because it's really hard to test the same exact product, because most of the things that Nvidia is on is either Microsoft or Android. But do you
Right.
think that Apple, with all its products, all around the world and everything like that, do you think that once they start doing their own AI, do you think that will have an effect on the company, or do you think they're just so separate that it wouldn't even matter what Apple is doing?
I mean, that's a good question. But remember that what's going to bring new customers into Apple are innovation, right? I mean, and or also affordability. So if people can afford the product that is high quality, then they will switch. I was always a PC fan, but when I got into Mac, I didn't realize how much better it was. It wasn't just better, it was infinite better, right? Because I didn't have to reboot my computer every month or so, right? So once I learned how good Mac products were, Apple products were, I just switched, and I never looked back.
But
So
remember, you are paying a premium, and that's why not
yeah,
everyone goes to Mac, because there
right.
is a premium to having that. Even though
Yes.
there's a lot of people go like, "Oh, it runs smoothly, it's really intuitive." It also is like, you could get a tablet right now for like $50, or you could spend like $300 or $400, or
Right.
even $1,000 potentially, depending on the product you get. You get an iPad,
Right.
and most
But
people
but
are like, "I'll just spend the little amount of money
But
instead of."
that's what I was thinking, right? So that's what I was thinking before. Look, I don't really like Apple. I don't know how their software works. I don't know how to use it. It's very foreign to me. I'll just spend like a fraction of the cost, and if something happens, then I'll just reboot the system, or I'll just buy a new system. Blah 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 blah. Right? And when you buy something that is cheap versus something that is more expensive and high quality, usually that high quality effect will last much longer. So once you understand the difference between, something cheap and something more expensive, and how much more reliable it is, how much more intuitive it is, how much more safe it is, which
I
is a
feel like
very, very
I feel like this is turning into a an advertisement for Apple products.
well. I mean, they
I
really
I
deserve
totally
it,
understand.
because usually they just make tremendous, tremendous products. So I can't say enough good things
You
about
know,
it, right?
you know that there's somebody right now listening who
Yeah.
is an Apple hater, and is just going like,
Well,
typing away right now.
let them listen.
You
I used to be a hater of Apple as well, up until a point where you got a MacBook, and then I asked you, so how do you like it, comparatively to the PC? And you said, wow, it's just like incredible. And I was still having issues with slowdowns and updates every single day or every other day. So I said, you know what, fuck it, this is just bullshit, right? Enough. Like it's kind of like Ford, right? And that's what I'll say. But going back to your
okay?
question, just going back
Yeah,
to your
yeah.
question, will people switch over to Apple products if there's a good AI? And the answer is hell yeah, because it only takes something that people use on a regular basis that will make things much more simpler for people. They will switch. Yeah, it
Well,
might be a little more expensive, but I think they will switch. And Apple can, if any company can compete with Nvidia and other AI products like ChatGPT, it's simple. It's Apple.
so
So
you
just
okay?
watch out.
Just so I'm clear, what you're saying. You are saying that you think that Nvidia, uh, basically Apple could compete with Nvidia in terms of actually getting customers away from Nvidia and coming to Apple for their line of whatever, of an iPad with an AI assistant on it, or
I mean, it's
the
not
iPhone.
I mean, it's not direct competition because it's not like Apple selling chips to other manufacturers, right?
Right. They're
Uh,
selling right. They're selling their own products. So
right.
meaning you can have an Apple Play car, and then if you include the AI to it, then you have both of those.
Right,
And
right, right, right. Well, all I'm trying to say is, for example, like a lot of people hate on Tesla, right?
sure.
Just because of the name, maybe they don't like the fact that Tesla's dominating the market. They don't
I
like.
think I think it's mostly, to be honest with you, I think it's mostly Elon Musk. He's become very polarizing to
Yeah.
people, and there's people who either love him or people who can't stand him, and that's
Or, or
basically where it seems
or,
like.
or when people see something on the news where a Tesla starts burning or blows up and like ha ha ha, you see those idiots who have Teslas.
Right.
uh, but when they actually go take a look at the Tesla, when they test drive it, and they're like, wow, this is so much better, the technology is just incredible, like the car that I have can't compete with it, and you know what, I think I might want to buy it, you know what I
Well,
mean?
there's
So
there's there's definitely like a thing where we get a perception, where the news gives us a perception of something that really isn't the case. Like you brought up the thing where you watch a Tesla. Oh, look, a Tesla blew up, and it's, or like, like not blew up, but like, it's burning or something like that, right?
right.
And it's like, well, has there ever been a Toyota that had the same situation, or a Ford, or a Honda? It's like, well, yeah, but those stories don't really make the
Yeah,
the
yeah.
the news, because it's like no one cares. Like, oh, a Honda was burning. How's that news at all? But if
Yeah,
it's a
how's
Tesla,
that?
that means
Right.
this could be all Teslas are burning, and
Right.
that's
So
obviously not the case.
So if Apple goes ahead and they create something amazing with their AI function, then I think that people wouldn't mind switching over to Apple because, yet again, you can finance their products. And if they make something really, really cool, they're going to get even more of a market share. So, yes, NVIDIA does have competition. Will they be able to sustain it? It all depends on what Apple does. That's what I
Mhm.
really think. And remember, there's a lot of people who already have Apple products and their friends don't. Like for like I'll say like it's almost like 50-50, right? Like some friends have Apple products and the other ones don't. So when they see their friends using Apple products, they're like, "What are you doing on it? I'm curious. Is it really better than my phone?" Right? And they'll see if Apple does produce that there's a potential. They're like, "Wow, this is so cool. Their AI is just amazing," and they'll want to switch. So yeah, they do have competition, but yet again, the difference is that Apple has hardware and software, and Nvidia only has hardware. So if the products that are using Nvidia are not upping their game, then yeah, they could be in trouble. So the way to potentially alleviate that danger is for Nvidia to come out with their own company that sells physical products as well. That would be
Right.
my suggestion. I don't know if they would be able to do so. Not to say that they don't have the money. It's just the R&D and the time needed into that particular product might take years.
Yeah.
So
I agree. I think that there's definitely um room for competition here. But I do think for the foreseeable future, I think that Nvidia is probably going to be king in this department. And I agree with you from like where you said originally, that I do think that it's going to be $1 trillion company.
right,
I just can't see anything in the short run really slowing it down. And
right.
if AI keeps on growing and more companies start utilizing it, they're going to need these chips. And so this is a big thing. All right, let's move on to our next topic. So the debt ceiling. The debt ceiling seems like it's on the verge, potentially, kinda, sorta. Seems like it's going to be signed soon. They have now until the 5th to potentially sign a deal. And it seems like because of encouraging words, the stocks have jumped pretty big. Um, so what do you think? Do you think that this is a good sign for the stock market in general, or do you think that this is just a short term for people that are basically trying to get on the wave really quick and then they'll jump off?
Right. Exactly. Well, I mean, first of all, liars will be liars. So instead of the deadline being June 1st, now it's June 5th.
Yeah, well, I
Yeah.
don't know, I don't know exactly what the reason for them or how they extended it, but it was Yenet. Uh, I forget her name, but she basically extended it to the fifth. But
Right.
anyways, yeah. But go ahead. Yeah.
So that's my first statement. My next statement is, I mean, they could prolong it. I mean, there's a chance. I mean, they're $50 billion away from making a deal. $50 billion to an average person is a lifetime amount of money that they'll never have. But in the sense of comparing it to $1 trillion, it's chump change, right? So yeah, the stocks are going up because it seems like they're really, really close to ending this whole debacle. But I kind of feel like what I said before in the prior podcast, that this is going to continue to be pressed forward. That's what I think. They could
Press forward.
sign it
Wait, wait,
soon.
wait. I'm sorry. What do you mean press forward? What?
I think they're going to continue to extend the deadline. That's what I think. They might extend it for like a month or two, maybe even 3 months. Who knows? I mean, it
Okay. Okay.
could be a few days, could be a couple of weeks, but I almost feel like they want to make people hurt. They want to make people think about what's going on. And $50 billion is not a lot of money. They will actually end up settling at the end, and they're going to restore the debt ceiling. The next debt ceiling is up for another debate in 2 years.
Oh,
So
okay. But in regards to the stock market, though,
yeah,
do
yeah.
you think it's a short-term thing right now that's happening, or do you think this is a long-term over, like, meaning the reason why stocks kind of haven't been doing all that well recently? Like, people are attributing at least partially to that because of the debt ceiling
Yeah,
talks and the fact that they might not sign it. So
yeah,
so
yes.
whenever there's a question in the market, the the stocks dip. So do you
Well,
think that this is a long-term thing, or do you think as soon as they sign it, stocks would fall back down again?
no, 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 no. I think that yes. In the meantime, this is a short run. I think it's going to run maybe until July, or when they actually signed the debt ceiling deal, right? Because it's going to be for another 2 years. So I
Wait,
think
so wait, I'm a little confused. Are you saying that as soon as they sign the debt deal, you believe that the stock market will go back down
okay,
to where it was?
yeah, I'll give you two scenarios, right? So one scenario is they prolong it up until July, right?
Okay.
So I think that it's going to go up until July, and then once they sign the deal, then the stock prices and cryptos will go back down. Okay, that's scenario number one. Scenario number two is that they don't prolong it and they sign it within the week or 2 weeks. Okay, and the stocks will go up. Okay, and then something else will happen, and they're going to crash. Either way, I think that maybe 2 more months of an uptrend, and then we go back down. So that's what I'm thinking.
Okay.
Either they sign it soon and then it goes up, or
Yeah.
signed it in July and it runs up to July and then it goes down. So the two different
Okay.
scenarios.
Okay. Well, the first scenario, I would say I don't agree with the first one you said, which is like, I believe that if they don't sign by the fifth, no matter how the outlook is or whatever, the stocks would go down. If they have to extend it to, like, we're extending it to July, I think the stocks go down because, again, it brings the uncertainty back. So I think right away the stocks go down because
Yeah,
of that.
but the reason why I'm thinking that it's actually going to go up until that particular timeline is because, okay, so right now they're $50 billion away, right?
Hmm.
Well, then they're gonna say, well, we're 40 billion, we're 30, we're 20, we're 10. So that's what I'm saying. The closer that we get, the timeline gets extended.
I
It's
I
still
don't think I
bullish.
don't think the average person knows how many billions are away. I think it's either is signed or it's
The
not.
average
Like
person,
meaning what everybody's gonna hear, and this is how the news is gonna run it, is deal could not be reached, extended by 1 month, if that happens. Meaning
yeah, but the average person
that's
has doesn't move the market.
no. But I'm saying, well, hold on a second. The average person is actually, well, I mean, like, I feel like we might get into a different argument now, but if the general idea is that if there's hesitancy because you're uncertain, and that's the average person is really uncertain, right?
Are
Because
you telling me? Wait, hold on. Let's go back for a second.
okay.
You're telling me that the average person, when they heard about the debt ceiling being deadlocked, they went ahead and they sold?
I think that there's a lot of people when they don't know uh, where the market is going to go and how it's going to be affected, usually pull out and wait. That's what a lot
I,
of people
I
do.
doubt.
And
I
and
doubt.
right now, the reason why it went up right now, if you want to believe that or not, at least this is what's being reported, is
Right.
because the good hope that hey, they're going to get to some. So there's people who are putting money in the hopes of once it's signed, they actually can make money off of it. That's
Okay, okay,
basically the
okay.
idea.
But what I'm trying to say is the average person who has money in the stock market is not trading, right? So they have it in the 401k. Most people who have funds in the
No. Hold
401k,
on a second. When I'm saying the average person, I don't mean every single person is trading. I don't mean that. I mean the average trader. That's what I'm talking about.
okay,
I'm saying the average trader, a person
right.
who goes like, hey, I'm trying to make money. I'm in the stock market. I'm trying to play around with it. I'm seeing. I think that those people yes, I'm not talking about an insider who usually you would believe is somebody who just knows everything and they make every perfect move every single time. I'm
No,
talking about the people that make the wrong moves, the people that don't make the right moves, the people that invest at the wrong time or take out at the wrong time. That's what
right,
I'm
right,
talking
right.
about.
I understand. I understand. You're talking about the average trader, but even
Yes.
average traders don't move the market. But
Really, you believe the whole market is just it just moved by insiders only?
well, I mean, I'm not necessarily saying. I'm not even going with that. I think AI moves the market.
Okay. I feel like
So,
this is a different kind of conversation.
well,
Okay.
that's my theory. Yet again, that's my theory. Okay.
That's okay.
But what I'm trying to say is that the average person is like I don't think they even feel it. I don't even think they know what is going on. The debt ceiling, what is that? Like, does that affect me? No, because I'm in the private sector. I think that a lot of people who are worried about it, who know what it entails, are the people in the public area, right? So like police officers and teachers and workers like that. They know if this doesn't get signed, then they might be out of a job for who knows how long. And the thing is that what I'm thinking they're using the strategy is, well, we're only 50 billion away, and that 50 billion might last for like a week or 2 weeks, and they're going to say, oh, we're only 40 billion away. I think that's, yet again, I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's how it's going to play out, and it's going to continue to move the market up because, oh, they're so much closer. They're going to do it. They're going to do it. And then I think that once they do sign it, because the stock market has gone up significantly from the point of where the debt ceiling fight started, I think it's going to top out at that particular time when they sign it. That's what I think.
Yeah, like I don't know if I see any of that, to be honest with you. I To me it really does seem like this is a like people, as soon as they get any kind of certainty or comfortable with the market, I think that's when stocks go up. As soon as they feel either like if the if all the talks they hear about is inflation, if they hear talks about the debt ceiling and they can't come to a consensus on it, every time they hear anything in the market going bad, us paying money like billions of dollars to Ukraine or anything like that, I think that's when people start pulling away because they become uncertain. They're like, I don't know what's going to happen with these companies, especially if you look at how many of these multi-billion or trillion-dollar companies have gone down, whether it's Amazon, whether it's Disney, whether it's whatever. There's so many companies like Netflix and so many companies that have gone down that I would argue that the uncertainty is the biggest issue with stocks going down, at least for the most part, I would say.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you that it's the uncertainty, but that's because the government is not pumping in money. So when they extend the debt ceiling, there's going to be more money pumped into the market. But the problem is that it has already been priced in, right? Because they're already expecting for the government to sign a deal, right? So that gets priced into the market, and once it gets priced into the market, it gets exhausted, right?
I
And
have no clue, dude. I'm sorry, I have no clue what you're saying by that.
oh, all right.
You're saying that they're just pump like so. Basically, what you're saying is people aren't really putting money in. This is already like completely fixed, and uh, they already know what's gonna happen. And like I don't know.
I'm
I feel
saying
like
the stock
we're
market.
gonna have a like a conversation where it just doesn't go anywhere because if you're
No, no, no.
basically saying everything is already locked in, then you know.
I'm saying that investors already see that there's going to be money pumped in, right? So they know that the deal is going to be signed.
Can you explain that to me? Because you're just saying that, and I don't know what that means. What do you
Well,
mean by there's money gonna be pumped in by who and how,
no,
and into what stock?
no, no, it's not even necessarily stock. I'm not saying that part of it. All I'm
Okay,
saying
so what
is
is
that
it?
because people already anticipate um, that the Congress is going to reach a deal with the debt ceiling. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, they're basically betting short
Yeah,
term
that's
that
what
this is going to happen. Yes,
I'm
but
saying. So,
oh, okay, okay. Because when you're saying they're pumping it in, I'm like, and then you talk
no,
about the government, I'm like, okay, I don't know what you're
no, no,
what you
no,
mean
no,
by that.
no, I don't mean that. All I'm trying to say is that the traders, um, who actually read the news and understand what's going on, they know that the debt ceiling extension of the debt is going to happen. So they know the money is going to be put back into the economy, right? Because they have to pay for Social Security and all these other programs. And when they pay, or when they continue paying people, then those people are going to spend money. So obviously the economy is going to grow, right? So when they're anticipating that that's going to happen, that gets priced in, meaning the traders are coming back to the market, right? And all these large institutions, they're also going to be pumping money in because they know the stock market is going to continue going up. So when it reaches
Wait,
its
these large institutions, what do you mean by that? They're gonna be pumping
well,
in
like
money.
hedge funds and
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
yeah,
Because okay, you just clarified that. Like I was like,
yeah.
what? Netflix is gonna be putting money? Okay, I see what you're saying.
No, but Netflix could also be putting money. I mean, there are other companies that invest into other companies. So when they know
They
that,
have no, hold on a second. That's they have to
I'll say
disclose that.
Netflix.
That's not a thing.
Yeah.
That's not like like that doesn't really move the needle unless they're literally buying a company out.
Well, what I'm
It's not
saying,
like Netflix isn't like putting in like $1 million into Amazon, going like we
well,
did
no,
it.
what I'm saying is there are other companies who already do that. So what I'm saying is
Yeah,
like
yeah, but
investment
it's
companies.
companies that are in the financial game,
Yeah.
not
Yes.
companies that are like, hey, we do movies and stuff like that. By the way, we also on the side invest into companies like
Yeah,
this.
well, that's what I'm saying. There are investment firms, hedge funds,
Sure,
mutual
yes,
funds.
yes.
So when they anticipate that, oh, they're so close, right?
Hmm.
They pump money into the market. So they pump money into the market and they know at a particular point, let's say the stock market.
Wait. See, I feel like sometimes you say that and you encompass everything. They don't pump money into the market. They pump into the products they think are going to do well, right? Like the
That's
company.
the market. That's what I'm saying. The
Well,
market.
no, but but come on, it's not like there's infinite number of these companies. It's not like they
No, no.
put it into every single company across the board.
But let
They
me
put it into certain companies.
yeah, but
And
let me explain. There's always sellers and there's always buyers, right?
yes,
Okay, so we agree.
in most cases, yes.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying basic terms how the stock market works. Either you buy or you sell, right?
Yes.
You can also short that. I'm not talking about that, but
Yeah. I get it.
it's more complicated and it's also going on. But okay, when they reach stalemate
Mhm.
on the debt ceiling, all these fund managers they sold out. I'm just giving the basic, okay? They sold out, and
What do you mean? You mean they sold their products, or you mean they sold out?
they sold stocks.
Okay. Because sold out means something else as well. That's why I was like, okay,
They sold the stocks.
yes.
They went into cash,
Hmm.
okay? And then the prices of those stocks continue going down, right?
Hmm.
So now they see that there's going to be a deal reached very soon. They put the money back in, right? You see what I'm saying?
Yes. No. I get what you're saying. I was just correcting in terms of you were when you talk about like certain companies doing something and you're saying they pump up the market. I don't believe that they like a certain segment. I could go with you if they're like we're gonna pump the tech market or something. But we saw what happens when millions of people try to put money into like just one company like GameStop,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah. But I'm saying they're
So
buying back. All I'm trying to say is they're buying back the companies that they sold. I'm not saying like they're gonna pump like a particular company. I'm just saying they're just putting. They know which companies are good. So they sold those companies that they had. Now they're putting the money back in when it's at a low valuation. That's what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to get to is that, for example, we'll use you and as an example. You're like, okay, look, the debt ceiling is not being reached. Okay, you know what? I think the stock prices are going to go down. So you will sell, let's say 5 stocks that you have, right? And then you hear the news, oh, they're about to reach a deal. Okay, I'm going to go back in. That's pretty much what I'm saying. You see what I mean?
y- yes, but I
Okay.
mean,
Okay.
again, I I feel like we sort of went kind of all over the place on this. But yes,
I'm saying
I understand.
all I'm trying to say is that once they reach the deal,
Mhm.
then I do see that the stocks are gonna probably dump. Why? Because we have two other factors that are playing a key role in the stock market not doing so good, and that is interest rate increases. So I do see more interest rate increases up until a point we have probably a banking issue, and then they'll
Okay,
stop.
okay.
That's it.
Let's not get away
Yeah.
from like
That's
we're
it.
like
That's it. So
okay, yeah.
that's my conclusion. I don't know if you have a different conclusion.
Yeah. Meaning, I feel like uh, that these stocks in general, like the stocks that are going up right now, I think that they're really flaky. And depending on the next thing they hear, and if like you were saying that oh once they extend it the stocks will keep on going up, and I'm like I believe that as soon as they hear anything bad like we're extending it another month, I think that they're going to pull out right away and the stock market falls. I think that that's most likely what's going to happen. If they do sign uh, until the 5th and no without extensions, I believe the stock market will go up for a short period until it kind of corrects itself again.
Okay.
That's basically it. So all right, so
I guess we'll see.
yeah, let's move on to the next one. Go for it.
Okay, so the next one is Ford signing a deal with Tesla to allow Ford customers to share the chargers, which are approximately 12,000 charging stations with Tesla owners. What do you think about that?
Well, I sucks being a Tesla owner.
Yeah,
In this
it
case,
does.
yeah,
Finally.
this is not something that I think Tesla owners like. They kind of knew that there's a potential of that because there have been talks. I think Elon Musk years ago even said that this is the goal, is that like to have everybody use the charging stations. And for Tesla as the company, this is fantastic. It puts pressure on the other companies to to do the same thing, because if Ford has access to them but Toyota doesn't, and that kind of sucks. Or if it's Honda, or like, that kind of sucks, because uh, Tesla Tesla's charging stations are extremely numerous. They're in really good locations, and you could really, kind of travel the nation with it.
And
And
I'm assuming they work well, right? So
they well, see, this is the question. They work fantastic for Teslas. The
uh,
question is, will they work just as well for non-Teslas? Because that's the biggest problem that I hear from people who own electric cars, and they regularly use non uh, not their home charger, for example. They'll use, some charging station that's acceptable to them, and it very often, they get like really really bad results. Sometimes it doesn't charge, sometimes it breaks the charge, sometimes it doesn't give them a fast charge, and this happens really often with these kind of charge stations. Will Tesla be better? Maybe,
yeah, I mean
but
that definitely is scary. You know what I mean? I would think that what you would want to do is before like going on a road trip, you want to test it out locally and see if it'll work for you. So, for example, with my car, I wanted to charge it, and I wasn't set up properly, so I couldn't. I literally could not charge it. Thank God I had enough to get back home. So make sure that you test it and that it works. That's what I would say.
right. No, no. Yeah, again, most people who are getting into EVs, yeah, there's a learning curve there, and you definitely have to kind of understand that there's different plugs, different charging stations. So you could technically, as a Tesla owner, you can use non-Tesla charging stations, but it's not the other way around.
Yeah,
So now it
that's
seems,
kind of.
what?
I'm saying that's kind of interesting.
Uh, it's smart from a business perspective, because the thing is, technically, the charging stations that are non-Tesla, they're sort of like um, uh, a 76 gas station or a mobile gas station. They're not, they have nothing to do with the car brands. They're not
Yeah,
a car brand um,
yeah, yeah.
charging stations. So because of that, they're like, hey, we want as much business as we possibly can. Whereas Tesla is like, no, 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 no. We have proprietary cars, we have proprietary stuff, and it works specifically with our stuff. And until we have so much of it that you kind of have to come with us, or excuse me, to us, to actually be part of, you know, the
Yeah.
group in a sense.
Yeah,
So,
I think this is horrible for Tesla customers. Amazing for Tesla as a company. Now, if
and by the way, let's not forget, this is fantastic for Ford people. Like,
or,
if you're Ford, the fact that you're going to be one of the only other companies that can use it is fantastic for you, because,
well,
like,
up
that was
till
one of the
listen,
biggest problems.
up until a point where they allow Chevy and other, like GM and other
Sure.
companies to do so as well, and then that becomes a big issue because the wait times are pretty heavy.
Well,
That's
they'll become really heavy in that respect. Yeah, they'll
Well,
become
that's
really heavy.
honestly, really, that's the only thing that I don't like about electric cars, or the fact that you have to wait so long for a charge. You can't actually have a DC charger at home because that's more industrial and very dangerous to do so, and nobody will give you a permit for it. It's too expensive to install. So
The,
as of right now, you're stuck with if you're actually charging at home if you want to charge your car to a full tank, then you're probably stuck with at least 6, 7 hours, at least.
well, the good thing is that they are constantly improving them. I mean, from when Tesla started, uh, charging to now, you could get a pretty quick charge. At least, like, I think it's on their superchargers. I think it's something like 15 minutes. I think you get like half of your charge, or if not more. Uh,
Well, with Mercedes, it's I think 80% in like half an hour or something.
it might be something like that. Maybe I'm forgetting, but it's really really fast. And the newer stuff that's coming out is supposed to be even faster. So we are definitely heading in the right direction where charging is going to be. It's never going to be probably as fast as you putting gas in, but it probably will get down to like 5 minutes and like 50 or 60
Well,
percent charge, which like wouldn't be too bad.
no, the only problem that I'm mentioning is I think that 30, 45 minutes is actually not that bad. But I'm talking about the technology in your house. I don't. I mean, maybe you could actually figure out how to charge a car like under an hour, but I don't know. I mean, it's just to me like I don't know how that's possible. Yeah, maybe they do know how to do that.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like neither of us are, uh,
Yeah, exactly.
like knowledgeable enough in this kind of area, but it seems like they are getting better and better, and yeah,
So,
I mean, eventually they'll probably reach a point where it probably can't get any faster, just because it just
yeah.
probably.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I mean, there are other ways of charging your car. Like, for example, I think they talked about having like a charging station, like underneath the car when you park it, at like a particular mall or something like that. That might be the future. Also, potentially on the road as well, they can implement that. So you won't actually need to ever charge it, right? It's always charging. That would be fantastic, but I almost feel like something like that could actually damage the battery because it's always charging, it's always working. So yeah, but you know what? The one thing that I would love to add on to any vehicle are like solar panels. So I mean, I think that would be tremendous if they can add like an additional feature of charging. But yeah, so to conclude my perspective on this, I think that Tesla is constantly improving their income.
Mhm.
So they're doing really good things for the company, not so much for the actual customers,
Yeah.
because I really do think that the customers of Tesla are going to be really pissed off. How do you remedy that? I think that how you can remedy that is by actually giving them a discount. I,
Right.
and I
I was
still
thinking the same thing. I was
right, and
still
I
thinking
still
that do two things. It's lower the price and at the same time allow for more, not allow, but build more of them. Like continue like put in billions of dollars and create way more charging stations.
yeah, but honestly, I think the error of like Tesla owners only being allowed to charge their car at Tesla stations is over because if Ford is, a company that they're allowing to do so as well, I think that they're going to bring on many other companies. So I think that error of Tesla being the sole chargers in the charging stations is over. So
I completely agree with you there. My only thing is that if you give discounts to Tesla owners and at the same time build way more of them, I
mm,
think that's how owners could feel kind of good about, hey, we're getting a discount. Most likely their charging is going to go way smoother than the people that don't have a Tesla. So that's another thing. And I
well,
feel like if you do a bunch of those things, you could at least appease people enough where they're like, all right, fine. Because there's a lot of Tesla owners that don't go outside. Like, I mean, they charge their car at home. Not everyone, of course, but
right.
there's definitely a lot of people who do.
You're right. Well, I think that there's another problem. I think you may have brought it up, and that is, a different make. If you charge a Ford at a Tesla station, then there's a potential that it doesn't work.
Very
And
well. It will work, but it'll be. There's a chance that it might not work well. That's it.
okay, it might not work well.
Yeah.
And in the meantime, there's somebody behind them who's a Tesla owner. I don't know. I mean, this could be really frustrating. So yeah, I mean, this is yet to be seen how it's going to go. Now that I think about it, it could actually hurt Tesla, but we'll see. We'll see how it works out.
If like look, the only way that if this becomes so unbearable that people go like, I'm turning my car in because I don't have a charger at home, and every time I go to charge my car, there's like literally like 4 or 5 cars waiting for somebody for like 30, 40 minutes. So that means you have to sit there for hours and hours just for the potential of you getting a charge.
Well,
Those kind of stories, if that is what happens, I could see people going like, nah, this isn't for me. I'm not dealing with that kind of stuff.
right. Well, you being as a case example, if for example you can't charge it at this particular station, then you're going to have to look for a station where it's free. And how far would you have to go in order to actually get a charge? And that's going to really piss you off.
Well, if
And
if you live in an area like if you live in the big city, it's really not that big of a deal in terms of finding. There's a lot of charge, like especially when you look at the charging station map. There's so many that you never even thought of, like where charging stations are actually have charging stations.
sure.
That's not the problem. It's the question of, are there people already there? So you go to one place across the street from you, oh, somebody's there. You go to another place, there's somebody there. Every
Like,
place you go, that's the issue. If
well,
it becomes like that, oof.
Mercedes has an app, and it'll actually tell you whether it's free or not free. So
Yeah, Tesla does the same. Tesla
okay,
has
so
exactly the
then
same.
so that you wouldn't have to actually go there and check. But
No, 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 no. I didn't mean no. I didn't mean whether it's free or not. I meant you would have to go check if somebody is like if there's already people waiting. That's the thing.
oh,
It won't tell you that. It won't tell
well,
you.
I mean, if for example, if one is available, then I would assume nobody's waiting. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. So yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, this is kind of like a 50-50 type of deal where Tesla should benefit, but if it
Well,
doesn't do like if the charging doesn't go well, then they might lose here.
right.
Uh,
The only positive right now for Tesla consumers is that there's not that many people that own Fords just yet. Ford EVs. It's not like they've sold millions and millions of them. And the same thing goes for most companies who are doing EVs. It's just starting out. But if we're talking about, a year or 2, 3 years from now, that might be like a very different story.
yeah, I think they're just preparing for other companies to join in because you're right. There's not too many cars out there, and I think there will be. This is
Right.
just the start. So I think we're kind of like 50-50 on whether this is a good thing or not a good thing. So
No, no. I'm definitely gonna go with it's a very good thing for Tesla, with an exception, with a very small exception that it might go poorly if
okay, but let
just
me ask you
crazy
this
go.
question.
But overall, I think it's a really good thing for Tesla, not for consumers.
Okay, but let me ask you this one last question. And is there somebody at the station where you're charging your car?
Can you be a little more specific? What do you mean?
Well, at a gas station, there's an attendant, right? There's someone who can potentially help you if you don't know how to use the
Sure.
pump.
Mhm.
But is there somebody actually there who can help you?
You mean for Tesla? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, for Tesla.
Most no. You can't call like their support or something like that, and they
Yeah,
can help you. But no, there isn't. But in all honesty, there isn't much there. Like it's like Tesla has made that experience really really simple to a point where you walk up to the nozzle area, and your latch opens up automatically as soon as it's there, and you put it in, and then literally your car is telling you exactly how fast it's charging and all that kind of stuff.
get it. I get that. But I'm
Um,
saying somebody that has a Ford, it might not
oh
work
no
this
no for Ford, yeah, yeah,
hard. Yeah.
that's where I'm with you. That's literally my only thing about
Like,
if you're not using a Tesla. That's the
right.
question. Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, so let's move on to our last topic, and that is Shaq being a very naughty boy, and he is finally served with a lawsuit that he had in regards to the FTX debacle. So yeah, they've been trying to find him for a while, and they finally did at a basketball game. So what do you think about this particular story, Al?
I'm actually kind of surprised. Okay, so basically, the story, at least a little part of it, is that he was ducking people. Well, he was ducking being served. I don't know how Shaq is ducking people.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like
he's,
it's like
he's a monster.
yeah, literally it's the literally the largest dude in pretty much any place, even a basketball court,
Yeah.
and somehow he's like you can't if you couldn't find Shaq, you should quit your job. Just
Right.
this isn't your job. Just stop it, okay? Because they like literally they were like we had many attempts to try to serve him, but he ducked us.
Right.
How?
Yeah, exactly.
How's that possible? But
Right.
whatever. They finally served them. I think it's like I don't know how much of like he played into everything. It just seems like now to me at least, and this is so I'll be honest. I am not too proficient in the whole entire FTX story. I know it kind of like generally speaking, but I don't know every single detail. But it really does seem like, to me at least, is that they're kind of going after everyone that had like, especially if they're a celebrity, just for the potential of a big windfall of money, because it really does seem like they're just like, oh well, this person did an ad here, this person said something positive over here, this person, oh I think he might have bought this over here, and it's always like celebrities. It's not like they're going after Jim across the street. They're going after the big guys. I kind
Right.
of feel like that's sort of potentially with Shaq as well. I feel like he probably like he was endorsing it and stuff like that, and they're like, ah, gotcha. See this thing that turned really bad? We're gonna go after you for that. I
Right.
don't know if that's really the case. I don't know if he was like on the like he had the full knowledge of like, yeah, we're gonna screw him over. I
Right.
don't
Exactly.
think that that's the case.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so if you pay somebody money, does that mean that you're a fool for what the company does? Well, obviously that's not true. So, I mean, I don't know. This is just kind of weird. They couldn't like serve him. One, that's just really strange. They don't know where he lives. That's strange. They don't know who his PR person is. Come on, that's just ridiculous, right? There's a way to serve, celebrities or companies or things like that. So I think that part of it is ridiculous, and the part that he's actually being sued or included in the lawsuit for FTX, yeah, I mean, then nobody should ever participate in promoting any company or product, right?
Yeah, because to me,
Doesn't make sense.
yeah, to me, it's sort of, and again, I'm not very knowledgeable when it comes to the whole FTX thing. But to me, it's sort of like if 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 Shaq, instead of endorsing FTX, if instead he endorsed a shampoo, and then find out that they were putting some kind of really bad chemical in the shampoo, but Shaq benefited from it. He made lots of money and he was on TV all the time. Should you sue Shaq as well because he should have known that there was a bad chemical in this? It just kind of doesn't make sense, except if you're trying to either one, get a lot more money, or two, uh, try to bring publicity to this lawsuit. And I kind of feel like it's more maybe the second even. They're just trying to build publicity for the lawsuit. Go, hey guys, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. We're going after the bad guys. And I'm like, I don't know if Shaq
Well,
necessarily is the bad guy, or or the good guy for that matter. Even.
instead of like going after the people that actually did it, they're going after the celebrities that really have very little to do with that. So they're putting the celebrities in the spotlight while Sam is like, where is he? Like, is
Right.
he in jail? Is he gonna like pay? I mean, they recover all the money. They said they recovered all the
Yeah,
money.
that's
So like,
that's a fantastic point that you made. Actually, is that it's like, why not go after the money instead? Why not look after the people that made billions of dollars? Why are you going after like, hey, this person went, hey, this product is great. Let's go after that guy because they most likely have like, does Shaq really know what an NFT is and how it works and all that
yeah.
kind of stuff? No, of course not. They don't know shit like I'm sure he barely understands what he was selling. He was like, "Oh, this is gonna make me good money. All right, I'm gonna do this." That's kind
I,
of how I feel like this this was more than anything else,
right.
and they're just dragging people along. It seems like to go like, yeah, we get more, but instead of going after the people that's like like, oh, by the way, these guys made billions of dollars and it seems like nothing's happening to them. Oh, well, that's a different kind of thing. Or, those people are much harder to go after, you know, and there's no publicity in that, you know.
Yeah, I think we agree too much on this podcast.
Yeah, yeah. This was actually the most agreeable podcast I think we've had. All right.
Yeah.
You're wrong and I'm right.
Okay, let's finish it off.
All right. Okay. All right, guys. Thank you for joining us again. And next time maybe we'll disagree. All right.
Take
Thank you guys, and leave a like and do all that kind of fun stuff. And see you guys next week.